before we start, I'll kind of make an introduction on Erica. So I don't know if anybody's been to any of our webinars. We usually do this the last Thursday of every month. So be sure to kind of check out, subscribe to our newsletter over at WeStock to check out all of our new webinars that come out on a monthly basis. Was really excited to be able to get Erica for our first webinar of the new year. I know a lot of brands constantly ask us how to utilize TikTok. I know I don't have the answers, so I wanted to turn to an expert with Erica and what she's doing with her brand Brodo, but also with her consulting group, helping brands grow their reach on TikTok. So I was really excited to see kind of the outreach and interest in this topic. I will post this video on YouTube and email it to everybody after, so don't feel like you have to rigorously take notes during the webinar. Just kind of sit back and enjoy it. If there are questions throughout, please put them into the chat or wait till the end. We'll do a Q&A. And then if you have to leave early or anything, that's okay too, since I'll post it on YouTube and we'll go from there. So without any further ado, Erica, I'll kick it over to you, and everybody's on mute until the end, and then I'll kind of unmute people for questions. So Erica, I'll let you take over.
Cool. Thanks, Cameron. Hi, guys. Thanks for coming. For those who don't know me, my name is Erica. I'm the founder of Brodo, which is a protein-infused, better-for-you edible cookie dough. And I'm based out of Canada. And recently I just launched my consulting business, Grow with Erica, where I help brands basically leverage organic marketing and mainly through TikTok. That's kind of like my wheelhouse. So let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. So basically, I'm just going to teach you the basics of TikTok. And again, like you can just type in your question in the chat if you have questions along the way. And I'm going to break it down into 3 different categories. So the first is just the basics of TikTok. What is TikTok? What is the algorithm? How does it work? The second is storytelling, like what your messaging should be like on the platform, on your account. And the third is building community and keeping that community actively engaged. So what has TikTok done for me? So just a little bit of a story, I guess. I didn't want to go on TikTok for the longest time. I kind of had an ego and thought it was silly and thought it was only for kids and that my customers weren't there. And one of my good friends, she actually got on TikTok with her company and her account blew up and she was selling out of inventory. Videos were going viral, video after video. And I basically saw her company blow up and she didn't spend any money on marketing. So I saw all this organic reach. And I thought, okay, I just need to swallow my pride. I need to get on TikTok. I need to stick with it and be consistent and see what it can do for me and my business. And I think in March of 2021, I had my first video go viral. And again, like this video maybe took like 2 seconds to put together. It was a collage of videos of dough mixing in a mixer, and I used like a viral sound overlaying the video. And I remember waking up and I was hearing my Shopify like cha-ching notification go off on my phone, and I was like, something's wrong, that doesn't sound right, like this has never happened before. And then I went on TikTok and I saw all these people were commenting, they were following me. I had 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 followers, all from this one video. And the one issue that I had is at the time, I didn't track my inventory to a T. So I was really worried. So I went to the kitchen. I made my product at the time. I was making product at the kitchen till midnight, counting inventory, picking and packing. I think over the course of like 48 hours, I had 150 orders. I had to pick and pack and ship out. And ever since then, my account's just kind of grown, and it's been really great to build a community, generate brand awareness, and more importantly, convert into customers. So the first part is the basics of TikTok. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with the app. You have the app, you've been on the app, you know how the FYP page works. For those who don't know what FYP, it's basically when you go onto TikTok, the FYP is just content specifically for you. So the way that the algorithm works, if I'm completely new to TikTok, I download the app, I go on the homepage, it's going to show me a bunch of videos. And based on your behavior, it's going to give you videos based on what you like. So say there's 10 videos that the algorithm gives you. 8 of them are cooking videos, and you watch all of the cooking videos, but the other 2 videos, you don't comment, you don't like, you don't watch them. The other algorithm collects this data and basically on that behavior, it gives you either more videos or less videos of the same content. So that's why like you hear people going on TikTok and they get sucked in for hours because you're kind of in your own little world and it's giving you content based off of what you like watching. And then as a creator, so when you go on and you don't have any followers, you're new to the platform as a creator, you're going to post your first video. And basically the way that it works, it doesn't know who to give your content to. So your job is to figure out how to reach the right people. And you do this through a bunch of different things. You can do it with hashtags, you can do it with your messaging, the length of your video, all of that can have an impact on reaching the right people. So it'll take your video, you'll post your video, it'll take your video, drop it on a bunch of random pages. So for example, for my company, like my customers are Gen Zs, millennials, that's kind of who buys my product. But when I first went on TikTok, I didn't really have success like for a while because my first videos, the algorithm didn't know where to put it. Like it could have put it on like, I don't know, like a 60-year-old's like father's page who like doesn't really understand my product, doesn't eat my product. So it took some time to make its way to the right pages. But when you do reach the right pages, you have to ride that momentum and then it kind of snowballs from there. And that's why it's so important to post on a regular, consistent basis. The other thing that is really helpful with like going viral and getting visibility is using trends. And for those who maybe don't know what that is, that's just, it is what it is. It's trends. So they come and go very quickly and you want to get on trends earlier. The earlier you get on them, the better. So the mistake that I see a lot of brands make, especially with like paid ads and stuff, they have a video that's really fun, really great, but it's a trend that like was popular like 3 or 4 months ago. And we get fatigued. Like the thing with TikTok is people go on there and because it's so easy to just scroll, right? You really have to captivate someone's attention. And if they see the same thing over and over and over, it gets kind of old and they're not going to stick around for it. They're just going to keep scrolling. So you want to get on that trend. The earlier, the better. And like an app that's really great for this, for trending sounds, it's called Trend Talk. So you can use that. I think you have to pay like $25 or something a year, but it basically helps you find trending sounds in music earlier versus like when you go on TikTok and it has like if you go to add a sound, if you're familiar with the app and you hit trends or trending sounds, that list of songs or whatever that it gives you, they're outdated, they're old, they're not up to date because it's always moving so quickly. The other thing is hashtags. So hashtags are another big one. You do not want to be using like hashtag FYP, hashtag for you page, because your video is just going to get lost. It's a wasted hashtag. So with your video, so you're going to make your video and there's going to be room for a caption. So what I do is I write a little tiny short caption like edible protein cookie dough or whatever. And then after that, I like add in like 10 to 12 or 13 hashtags. And you want your hashtags to be specific to your content and you want them to be small hashtags. So for example, when I first got started and I didn't really have a following, I used really, really specific hashtags. Like I would never use hashtag cookie dough because it is such a big hashtag. And the way that it works is when you go and click that hashtag, it's going to be most engaged content at the top to least engaged. And you want your video to get visibility. So you want to use a more niche or smaller hashtag where your video can get featured higher up. So I would use protein cookie dough, healthy cookie dough, edible cookie dough, to kind of make it a smaller hashtag where it would perform better. The other thing too, like use your brand or your business name in every single hashtag on your video. So I always use hashtag Brodo, because if this reaches someone on the For You page and they like the video, they watch the video, the algorithm, it said that the algorithm collects that data and it's going to deliver other videos that have the same hashtag. So that's another thing that I would recommend doing. The next piece is storytelling. So you want to be very consistent with your messaging. And you, again, at the beginning, it's a little tricky. It's like throwing spaghetti at a wall. You don't know what is going to stick. The other thing too is like connection. So with TikTok, it's a lot different than any other app, right? Like people go there because it's raw, it's authentic, it's real. And that's why people gravitate towards it, because they can connect with the creator on a more deeper, meaningful level. And this kind of goes back to, like, I always tell brands, try to have someone represent your business on TikTok, and try to have a person always in your videos. Because oftentimes it's really hard for someone to connect with a business or a brand if you're just constantly posting about the product and you're not showing, I guess, like any personality or a person behind it. And I think that's why like I've been very successful, is because people know me. They know me as the founder of Rodo, and they kind of naturally gravitate towards my business because they're drawn to me and they support me. So I think that's the other thing. And videos that have a person in them usually perform, I think I read an article, they perform 35% better than videos that do not. And then the other thing as well, like with the videos that you put out, you want to have as many layers as you can. The more layers you have, the better it will likely perform. And by like adding value, you can have humor, entertainment, education. The more you can get into one video, the better. And like an example of this, like I always talk about this, I watched a plumbing video like a month ago, and like I am not interested in plumbing. I don't care about plumbing. It's not something that I normally pay attention to, but the way that this person made this TikTok, it had all these layers. He basically showed how a toilet flushed and what happened after you flush. And it's like something that's like very interesting. Like no one really knows, right? But he made it funny because he had like this plastic piece of poop in the toilet and was like, and had a voiceover and he was like talking about like the journey, what happens, goes through. So it was educating, it was interesting, and it was funny, and it had like hundreds of thousands of views. And he managed to make plumbing interesting, and he's cultivated this whole community and has hundreds of thousands of followers. So the next piece is building community. So this one is a big one. Again, like try to think of people who follow you on TikTok as your friends. Like talk to them like you're talking directly to the person on the other side. Like, hey, you, like, you know, like using language like that, making them feel like close to you, like they know you. And then the other thing too is just like regularly engaging with them. Like I see a lot of brands fail to do this, and just like let your followers like be a part of your journey, reply to their comments, reply to their messages, try to be on top of that. Sorry if you hear my dryer right now. Because that's really important. The other thing too that you can do to make them feel really included is if you go to your comments, if you see a comment that someone leaves, you can reply to it with a video. So this is kind of like a hack that I do. Some days when I don't really have any content made and I have to put out something, I just do that. I find a comment that has been commented often, or a question that a lot of people ask. I take out my phone, I reply with a video, and then I just upload that. It doesn't have to be super fancy or super edited. And you can just find a trending sound and overlay that and then have that as a video. And when people see that you're regularly engaging with your audience and you're replying to comments, it's kind of incentive for them, because then they comment and they're like, wow, this person might actually like reply to my comment with a video, and they get featured on your page. The other really great thing too is if customers do a review of your product. So I always try to do this, is if someone posts a review, I always duet it. And duetting is basically, so there's stitching and duetting. Stitching is taking a video, the first half of the video of someone else's video, and tacking your own content on the end of it. And that is really good for having a viral video. And that's kind of like a tip. This doesn't really fall into the community thing, but just like a side note, stitching is really good if you are struggling to get views and you want to be seen. So I do this usually if I have low engagement, low views. I find a video that's relevant to my content that performed really well, that went viral, and I stitch it. So I take the first half of the video that did really well and then just tack on my own content on the end. And usually it does really well as well. And it usually goes viral because the first video, the original video, went viral. But duets, so duets are side by side. So what I do is if a customer is reviewing my product, I do like a live reaction to it, and I just record myself watching them basically taste it. And then I post that, and then they get visibility on my page. So, and I always say too, like if you post a review, I will feature you on our page. And then because people see that, they're gonna want to post a review of your product because they think that they're going to get featured on your page, and it's visibility, especially if you have a lot of followers, like it's really good for them and they get to be seen as well. The other thing is going live. I know this is a lot of stuff to go through. So if anyone has any questions, just let me know. You can stop me at any time.
Yeah, Erica, we have a few questions, but we can save them to the end. I think you're in a good groove right now. So we'll go through all the questions in the chat at the end. So no worries.
Sure. Yeah, there's just like so much to go through. Like this is kind of like the end of this, but I mean, yeah, like I'll just finish with going live. So going live, you have to have over 1,000 followers to go live. That's kind of like the downside, but I think it's such a good way to interact with your followers. Especially too, like if you just hang out, like they get to know you on like a more personal level. Like I used to do this a lot more often. Like when I was picking and packing orders, I would have my phone up, people would watch me, they would ask me questions about the business, about me, learn about me. And then also too, you get visibility on the live feed. So if you're scrolling through the TikTok For You page and you see a live and you click it, if you scroll, it's kind of like this separate page of just lives, and it's all these random creators who are currently live on TikTok. So that's another way to get visibility, and also just like build community and get followers, generate more brand awareness, and connect with your followers on a more deeper level. But yeah, I think that's kind of like the recap of all of that. I know there's probably going to be a bunch of questions, so we can go through those now.
Yeah, so I'm going to go through a few in the chat first. So the first one's from Jessica, which was what was the platform for finding trending sounds? I think Diana asked that with TrendStock. And then she wanted to also know what would you consider a small hashtag in terms of view count range?
I guess like it depends, because kind of all over the place, like maybe like a couple million. Try not to get above that. I think like FYP has a billion or billions. Like it doesn't have to be super small. Also too, like if you, like for me, for example, I only sell in Canada and I use like Canadian business, Canadian startup, like kind of hashtags more specific to that to help like aim them at the right location. But yeah, I mean, like what is can I ask what her business is, or what like category is she in? Or
yeah, of course. Jessica, I can unmute you really quick. One sec. Can you unshare your screen, Erica?
Sure, yeah.
All right, great. So Jessica, really quick, so you're unmuted, Jessica, if you want to kind of go into your brand a little bit.
Hey, thanks. Thanks so much for taking my question, and Cameron for unmuting. Just to give you a little background. So I'm the founder of Jack and Friends. We're a US-based plant-based jerky company, making jerky out of jackfruit and pea protein. That's not only vegan and top 8 allergen free, but also a good source of protein and fiber with no added sugar.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you could use hashtags like vegan jerky, plant-based jerky, like instead of just like regular jerky, kind of go in that direction. Even like what I would recommend doing is go look up like those hashtags and see what other accounts are doing. And there's like there's no rule against like copying videos or copying other creators. Like if something is done really well for a brand that's similar to yours, you can copy it and it's likely going to perform well for you too. Just to get an idea too, and seeing like what does well and what doesn't do well.
No, that makes sense. Which for the hashtag specifically, when you're starting out, I guess like a new account or just like low follower or low views, would you recommend only using those like smaller hashtags around like the 1 million or even below that range, or like a mix of mostly smaller hashtags, but some like bigger ones thrown in there?
I mean, I would recommend trying to use smaller ones, just because again, like if you use the bigger, like wider ones, then you're just gonna get lost. Because even with like trending sounds, like the way that it works is like if you go and click a trending sound, it has all the videos and you can scroll for days, and it's just like the best performing videos to the worst performing videos. So especially at the beginning, if you don't have a following and you don't really have that engagement, you're likely going to be at the very bottom of that hashtag. So I think using the smaller, more niche ones, and then as you get bigger and you grow a bigger audience, you kind of have that community there and your engagement is better, then you can start looking at using the bigger hashtags.
Gotcha. Makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Jessica. So the next question is from Kaylee. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Any tips on getting comfortable on the in front of the camera for people who don't really feel comfortable with it?
Yeah, story of my life. I guess for me, I started out on Instagram stories. So I just like got comfortable being on camera by being on camera. Same with like FaceTiming, Zooming, like instead of like calling your friends, like FaceTime them, like try to just get used to seeing yourself. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. There really is no, I guess, easy way around it. You just have to do it more and more. And the more you do it, yeah, it'll be like second nature to you. And then the other thing too, like I think you have to remember like done is better than perfect. Like there is some content that I was very hesitant to put out and then I just put it out. It's better to just have content out there than waiting for the perfect video. So just start putting yourself out there and getting comfortable being on camera and seeing yourself on camera.
Yeah, I'll say something on top of that. Like another brand that's doing a really good job on TikTok and across all the different platforms. Another Canadian brand actually is Midday Squares, and they take more of the approach of just documenting everything versus really perfectly tailored content that's ready to send every single time. They're more just kind of like peeling back the layers of the onion to show you exactly what they're going through on a daily basis. And I think you'd be really surprised like how engaged your customers will be with stuff that you think is a day-to-day thing, but is really new and interesting to them. Erica, do you see that? Sometimes you said you go live packing orders. You would think people wouldn't be interested in seeing that, but I'm sure people that feel like they're a lot closer to the brand after watching that.
Yeah, that's the other thing, like that ties into the storytelling. So, like, who are you? Like, what makes you stand out from your competitors? And especially now, like, there's so many saturated categories, and you have to like stand out. And I think again, it like tying back to like Midday Squares, they do a really good job of this. Is like they're building a fan base. Like, yeah, people love their product. Their product tastes great, but people love them, and they actually have like pictures of themselves on the back of their packaging now. So, like, you know who they are. Um, they're a lot more than just a chocolate company. So I think like showing, if you're comfortable with it, showing the behind the scenes, like it really resonates with a lot of people. And that's kind of the advantage that smaller businesses have over like big corporations is they can't really tug on those heartstrings of the people who watch their videos. Whereas we can, because we're going through it. We're, like the day-to-day stuff is like very interesting to people. And I think if you can show that, like it'll go a long way, like the good and the bad.
For sure. Yeah. And then Paul wanted to know what were some common mistakes that you usually see done by brands on TikTok?
So I think like always selling your product. Like I see that a lot is like people are always just posting their product. They're posting their product or their service and they're just like talking about the benefits of it or why it's good or whatever. And again, like people go to TikTok to kind of get away from that. Like they want to have like a connection. It's different than Instagram, right? Like people like the candidness, the rawness, the realness. And like I've even noticed some ads, like if you're scrolling and you see an ad that looks like an ad, people get mad and they leave mean comments. They're like, I don't want this on my For You page. Like this is such a bad ad or whatever, because it's just very, very adsy, very salesy. And like I tell people, the less you like talk about your product, the more it's going to sell. And people want to go and do things on their own. They don't want to be told to do things. So that's the other thing. Like I've had a lot of videos where I just do a trend and I'm holding my product and then it goes viral, it gets millions of views. And then people go to my page and then they see what it is and they're like, wow, that's really cool. And then they go and they purchase it themselves. So that's the other thing I would maybe, you can have obviously like a breakdown of like different videos and you can have videos in there that talks about your product, the benefits of it, whatever, but it shouldn't be every video.
Got it. Catherine asks, how does the algorithm react when your brand's product is shown throughout the video? Will it not push it to the FYP if it might look too much like a sale?
Where's that question? What was that?
From Catherine.
Catherine. How does algorithm react when your brand's product is shown throughout the video? No, I don't think so. I don't think it has any impact on it. I don't think the algorithm is that smart yet. Yeah, I mean, no, I don't think so. I don't think it has any effect on it.
And then Diana wants to know, do you plan out your posts in advance or are you kind of recording them every single day specific to, when they're going to go out?
So what I do is time block. So I again, like I don't spend as much time on TikTok as people think that I do. I usually go on maybe for like half an hour every night just to see what is like on my For You page and what's trending. And what I do is I favorite videos that I think I can somehow incorporate with my own account. And then I kind of have this pool that I can pick from on my content days. So then my content days are usually in the mornings, like Monday morning for an hour and maybe Thursday morning for an hour. And like I have my tripod, which I really recommend that you get if you don't have one. And then I just make as many videos as I possibly can. And that's why I like a lot of my videos, I'm like in the exact same outfit in the same place. And then I kind of like break it up and have some other ones in between. But yeah, like I think it's good to batch create content rather than trying to do it every day. Cause some days you really don't feel like being on camera and making content.
And then just to kind of build off of that question, is there any thing you can use to basically pre-plan your TikTok posts? Like, so we use Sprout Social at WeSock to basically preload all of our Instagram and Facebook posts for the week ahead. Is there any software for that you use, or are you just posting directly to TikTok?
So I don't think there is anything like that yet because there is something like that for Instagram, but there isn't, not that I know of anyway. And I've asked a few friends this and we don't think there is. If you find something, let me know. But the way that I do it is I just create all my videos, have them all in my drafts, and then I kind of do like the captions and stuff, and then I upload them throughout the week. And just, yeah, do it myself that way.
Awesome. Diana said there's something called the Plan app, planthat.com that will do it. So
Okay.
we'll have to check it out after. Aaron wanted to ask, do you know if Instagram and Facebook algorithms punish cross-posted TikTok branded videos, or are they treated the same as other videos?
Okay. So this is like kind of tricky. No one really knows. So the thing with Instagram, I like TikTok because you can take that content and put it on Instagram Reels. But before you do that, like you can use a website. I'll type it in the chat. It's called snaptik.com. Basically, what it does is you copy the link, you paste the link, and it removes the watermark. So Instagram doesn't like the watermark, and it's not going to push it to as many people if that watermark is there. I've used that website to remove the watermark, and I've uploaded videos to my Instagram, and my videos have performed very well. I've had videos do 2 million views, 500,000 views, 1 million views. So I haven't seen any issues with that. In terms of like, I know I have some friends who are creators and they seem to think that if you, for example, if someone posts a review of your product or service on TikTok and you basically take that video and then you upload it to your account, both of those videos are not going to perform well because they just kind of cancel each other out. So I have heard that. I haven't tested it myself, but with Instagram, I think you're fine if you remove the watermark.
Got it. And then are you using a business or personal TikTok account?
So I'm using a personal account, and I always tell brands to do this. Like, don't use a business account. The only downside is if you have less than 1,000 followers, you're unable to link, have a clickable link in your bio. So if you are new to TikTok, I would go in, create a personal account, have your profile picture, your logo, whatever it is. Have a little bio, like you only have a limited amount of space. So just kind of like recap what you are. And then below that, you can just manually like type out your website. It just won't be clickable. And then make sure that you link your Instagram and have your website in the bio there, because then people can find you. And I guess the reasoning why is when you switch to a business account, you're very restricted. You can't use a lot of sounds due to copyright. So I also noticed when I switched to business, my views dropped substantially. So I switched back to personal. And I've seen that happen with a lot of other brands too.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's it for the questions today. I really appreciate everyone for coming out. Just to let everybody know, we do webinars at the last Thursday of every month. Our next webinar is going to be with Aaron, who's the sales director over at iWant Organics, a really fast growing protein snack. We're going to be talking about how to grow your brand in micro markets. So look out for the invites. Those will be going out next week. I know Simon asked in the chat, be posting this to YouTube by the end of the day. All of you will have an email in your inbox by the end of the day with the link. And then Erica, if you can please just kind of let everybody know where they can reach you, if they have any questions, what's the best email, and how they can support you.
Yeah, you can go to my website if you want to learn more, growwitherica.com. You can email me, erica@brodo.ca, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn if we're not already connected, Erica Rinkin. I'll just type I guess you guys know my, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. And I'll send out this by the end of the day. Thanks so much, Erica. We appreciate it.
Cool, thanks. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.